Hello, guys. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Football Fan Zone. As usual, we have our usual guest with us today. We have Uzo joining us, the sports fan, the bouncy, the excited sports fan.
Bro,
Uzo, how
he's
you
he's
doing?
he's really excited.
Hello, Uzo. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can we say, man? It's always nice to collect 3 points in this new Super League, man. Wherever you can get your 3 points, you collect it and you hold it.
Yes.
So
That's
we're doing
correct.
better than last week,
Yeah.
inshallah.
That's good. That's good. All right. We also have the Adams with us as well. The Adams, proud Chelsea fan. Right now Chelsea's not doing well. Adams, how you doing? How you feeling?
I mean, we've had better days, but it's football.
It's football. It's football. Yes, it is. It is. 1 week, could be sour for you. The next week it could be very good for you. So hopefully Chelsea's fortunes improve. All right. So we're going to review the Premier League results from the weekend. So we have had some very interesting results. I saw somewhere where someone put a comment that this weekend was kind of like horrible for punters. So if you're a betting man, it was kind of like a shock weekend. I don't know what you guys think about that, but so let's quickly review the results. So it was Everton 2, Chelsea 0.
We had to start from there.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. Liverpool came from behind against Crystal Palace to win 2-1. We just saw some hours ago Tottenham at their famed London Stadium dismantle Newcastle 4-1. We also saw, shockingly, Manchester United for the first time in like over 20, 30 years, losing at home to Bournemouth 3-0.
Well, it's the first time they lost to Bournemouth, period, in their entire history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So there you go.
At home.
At home as well. And we also saw Aston Villa, can I call them the surprise package of the season so far? Back-to-back victories against Manchester City and Arsenal. So a lot of fixtures and results will get our teeth into. Okay, so where do we start from? Okay, let's start from the game we just saw some few hours ago. Tottenham dismantling Newcastle 4-1. It was a good result for Tottenham, bouncing back from the defeat in midweek to London rivals West Ham. Uzo, the sports fan, is here with us as usual. So Uzo, would like to first. My question to you first will be: so between the game against West Ham during the midweek and today's game, what was the difference? What was the difference maker? What was it? Was it something to do with the personnel, or was it what would I call it now? Was it the players' mindset? What changed it for Tottenham this today?
It's funny. I thought you were going to start with the Arsenal game because I thought that was probably the bigger game that happened this weekend. But for Spurs, there was two personnel changes, and there was also a change in positions with the front three. And over the week, he talked a lot about what we can do to improve our finishing. And one thing I love about this manager so far is a lot of the times when I'm thinking something in the back of my head, like, I'm not sure that's quite right, he comes out and talks about it like in the very next press conference. And I've loved that. And I think also like our media team do a great job of asking him those questions that is on every fan's mind, because it's just to like kind of put us at ease. Because again, we don't know what we're looking at. This guy's still new. We're still trying to get to know exactly what he's all about and what we can look forward to, what expectations we can have. Because you remember, and I've been telling you and Adams this the entire pod, like we don't know what the expectations for this team should be. We don't know what they are. We lost our best player. We haven't really replaced them. A lot of these players are new. We need to know what your ceiling is. What can we expect? What should we hold you accountable for? Because the thing about having standards is it helps everybody know when you're falling short and when you're overachieving. So we're in fifth right now. Based on the beginning of the season, it can be looked at as an overachievement. But then based on the way the season started, it can be looked at as a bit of a downfall. So it's like we need to know what the baseline of this team is so we can start to hold them accountable. And over the weekend, he talked really, really strongly about what he's here for. He was like, he's tired of people saying that we play good football. He said he hates it, that he's here to win, that he's playing in the way that he's playing because he feels like it gives us the best chance to win consistently for a longer period of time. So the reason why he's stubborn, the reason why he's not changing his philosophy, it's not because he's naive or he wants to prove a point. He kept harping on that thing. He's like, I don't want to prove any points. He was like, I just firmly believe, because this has brought me to where I am right now, that this is the best way for us to win and achieve the things that we need to achieve. So that was very inspiring for him to say after a game where most Spurs fans feel like we should have won that game against West Ham. We were far the better team. In the first half, they actually didn't come to play at all. We weren't that great, but they just didn't come to play. Second half, you can tell, like, with all the chances we missed, they fancied, like, these guys aren't that good. Let's go at them. And then they went at us. They created some mistakes. They got some good fortune. I thought their first goal was one of the luckiest goals I've ever seen, because it hits a defender, hits the other defender, and falls right into the path of the most lethal finisher on their entire team. Is like, well, you already know what the outcome is going to be. The second goal was a gift by Udogie, and he's shown a few lapses since he's been here, but he's not someone that you're going to jump on because he brings so much to the team. So it just is what it is. It was a horrible result. Specifically, like, you're looking at Fulham beating them 5-0 today. Like, West Ham are not a good side. It was a terrible result. So, like, from a accountability standpoint, no one is going to sit here and try to excuse it. Like, injuries aside, what we had on the pitch was more than enough to get the job done. And we were bad. We were poor in front of goal. But like I said, he talked about it. He said the players need to take responsibility. It's like they need to work harder at it. And that he feels that, he may have been too hard on the players to begin with, but, like, these are the moments where they need to, like, show their own mettle. He talked a lot about Johnson, who Johnson had a really poor game that game. His lack of creativity in the final third against low blocks was really, really alarming, because when you pay $15 million for a guy like that, you're expecting, a bit of magic in these kind of games, but it seems like he's more suited to transition football, which we're not playing transition ball here. So we're going to need to find a way to get him to be more effective. But today, I think the biggest reason why there was a difference was, one, Newcastle are dead on their feet. That game against Milan, if you're a betting man, take out a loan on your house and put whatever you have on a Milan victory, because Newcastle have been fielding the same 11 for 5 straight games, playing multiple games in a week. They're absolutely dead on their feet. They have no legs left. Right now, I don't think there's any team in the league that they can beat. And so we took advantage of a poor, basically injured, wounded Newcastle side who are already struggling for away form. We know how formidable they are at St. James Park, but without that boost of the fan base, they have been struggling for ideas all season. And now they're super tired, super injured. They have Miley starting, in midfield. And it just looked like a game where there was only going to be one winner. And it was us playing against ourselves, trying to get over our finishing demons. And so it was a good game for us because we needed to find our finishing in front of goal. And they allowed us to create wave after wave of attack. And initially, it was looking like it was going to be more of the same, a few misses here and there, but eventually we broke the deadlock. Doge getting his first club goal, that was very important for him because he's been getting into those advanced positions all season. And it's been looking like, I hope he's not another Reguilon who, under Mourinho, Reguilon would get into those positions all the time and just fluff his lines. He just couldn't finish to save his life. And it was a worry because if you're going to find yourself in those positions, you have to be finishing. But Destiny took his goal well. Son was a demon on the wing. Again, it's Trippier, so I'm a little cautious and getting happy because Trippier is absolutely done on his feet, man. He's played 90-minute games back to back to back to back to back, and he's already a shaky defender. So, man, I think even Adams would have cooked him on that wing today. Like, he was looking so shaky, so shaky. So Son had a great, fantastic game. We peppered them. It was a good result. We needed it desperately. Man, you want to talk about one of those games in the middle of the season that feels like, remember what Adams was saying when they came to Spurs, like it was a must win? That's kind of how it felt like for me. It was like, this was the game where we would run out of excuses. Nobody would be saying, oh, injuries. They'd be saying, nah, you can't go winless in 6 games. You cannot lose 4 straight home games. That's unacceptable. Wouldn't even be the word. That's sackable offenses. So for his future, for the identity of the team, for the belief of the fan base, this win was absolutely needed, and it delivered. It gave us everything we needed. It was sad to see us not get the clean sheet because Højbjerg decided that his parlay has to cash, so it is what it is. But all in all, it was a game that restored the faith, I think, of the fan base in what we're building here. I never wavered. A few people in my fan base started to sound the alarm, like this is worrying about. I'm like, it's okay. Like he's faced a lot of adversity since he's been here. He's in the beginning of his process. Just let it rock. We were expecting to see some lows, and that was a very, very, very low. But I think we've come through the worst of our schedule for the first half of the season. So now we can just continue to slowly but surely build, and let's see where we end up.
All right. Yeah. So positive for Tottenham fans right now. Victory today.
For
Looking
sure.
to yep. And like you mentioned, I think we're just close to. We're just about to hit the halfway mark of the season. I think this is game week 16. We're halfway going to be game week 19 or so, I think. So we're just
And I think
around
we're like 7 points off of I think we might be 7 points off of Liverpool
Liverpool.
and
Yeah,
like
I think.
6 off of Arsenal. So
So the thing about
if you
Uzo is always bringing up that it's always looking like there's still hope we can catch those guys.
no, the reason why the reason why I bring that up is, again, it's not about the challenging for the title. I already think top four is going to be a one horse race, right? And to go winless in
In
five.
one horse race.
No, I said top four is going to be a one. It's a race for one spot. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Because if we're saying three teams will challenge for the title, then that means top four is just one person.
Yep.
So I'm looking at keeping pace with the guys that are challenging for the
Top,
title,
okay.
so that you don't get left behind, fighting for top four. But we're 5 points behind Villa after a horrific run of form. So yeah, I mean it's positive. Things are looking up.
Yeah, it is. It is positive. All right. Okay. So so I think we're gonna leave the title talk for the later part of the show. So let's shift our focus now to Chelsea. The Adams, another disappointing weekend again for Chelsea after the disappointing results in midweek to Manchester United. So I think I'm going to ask you a similar question to what I asked Uzo in terms of the midweek game for you, and then this weekend's game. So in terms of looking at the two performances, right? I didn't say the midweek game, but from what I read, I think the Chelsea performance was poor, was horrific. So between that performance and this performance to a very to relegation threatened Everton, like what was the difference? Was it Chelsea not taking their chances? Was it an improvement from the performance from the midweek game? What was your general assessment for Chelsea?
I think for me, right, I'm actually struggling to stay in character, right? I'm really struggling, but especially the Man U game, Manchester United game, it was embarrassing, man. It was spineless. Like I expected like my team let me down against Manchester United. Like they let me down. Like I never lose it. Like I was about to literally lose my. Bro, it was just embarrassing, bro. Manchester United had, one of probably like the worst midfield you will see in the league. They had Scott McTominay, and for a player like Scott McTominay to score twice against us, far post against Cowell, which probably is the future of this club, future captain, maybe being too soft in that challenge, far post. Having guys like Anthony Garnacho have like games of the season. It was Amrabat bossing the midfield against Caicedo, Enzo, who I still think, they've done well. They've been all right, but it was crazy, man. It was, yeah, I mean, I'm lacking the words right now to describe that performance. And even with the way Manchester United play, they still left spaces in behind. That's just Manchester United. Like you would know that you would get chances against them because they have one of the worst pressing structures ever in the league. Like they're not
I
coordinated
agree.
in their
I
press.
agree. Yeah.
Like, bro, so it was, even when we performed the way we performed, right? Even if it was an off day, we still had chances. We still had chance after chance that we could have taken that game. I just watched the Bournemouth game, and with hindsight, I was fuming. Like I was like, what did we even plan to do in this game? And we had a guy like Levi Colwell lead out the team as the captain of the team. Just too many questionable things. Like, why is he captaining the team, right? Like at Old Trafford, where we haven't won in 10 years, and if there was any time to win against Manchester, because mind you, they're not a good team. Like they're not a good team. they're a very, very horrible team. They're not a good team. I expected us to win that game. I said before that game to multiple people that I think Chelsea was better than Chelsea's a better team than Manchester United. But sadly, I don't think that anymore. I think Manchester United are way better than us at this point. It was just a really horrifying performance. Jackson had his chances, Modric had his chances. I was really critical of Modric in that game. A lot of people said he had a positive performance, but I'm just waiting for that game, right? I've seen Nicholas Jackson do his thing against Luton, maybe against Spurs, scoring a hat trick. I've seen Sterling do the business for us. I've seen Palmer that just came also, show some signs, but I haven't just seen that Modric performance where I'm like, okay, there's something here. Like we've seen too many of these type of players fail at Chelsea. Like we've seen players in his mode come and show flashes here and there. And a lot of people get on Jackson. I think they should really be getting on Modric because I mean he has incredible talent, but I haven't just seen it. To be fair to him, against Everton, he did better. But the Everton game is always going to be that game. Like I was looking at that game, and most of us knew we were going to struggle in that game, even long before the Manchester United game. We're like, oh, let's try to get 3 points against Manchester United because if there's any time to do it, is now. And Everton, you never know, right? Because Everton is Everton. It's such a Chelsea game to lose. Like Everton, Goodison Park right now is such a Chelsea game to lose. Like I didn't expect much from us going into that Everton game. And like I said, like it's just really difficult. I think the harsh reality is like we might be a mid-table team. Like really might be a mid-table team. That's just we just have to accept that. And Pochettino didn't really help matter saying he needs players. And I just want to say this right out here, like no matter what happens to Rhys James, right? As long as it's still possible for him to be a footballer. As long as he is not completely written off. As long as nobody says, as long as he doesn't retire, or nobody or anybody doesn't say, oh, he cannot continue anymore. He will 100% have my support. 100% have my support because I've seen a lot of, takes from fans. I get it. Like I get it. It's frustrating to,
Yeah.
have one of your best players, breakdown like this. We have guys like guys like Diaby, Jack Wilshere that we're thinking of what their careers would have been if they could stay fit. But Rhys James 100% has my support, like for what he has done at this club, for sticking with us through this period. Like he could have jumped, right, and
Yeah.
winning the Champions League. So I'm just putting that out there. I know that's not, what we're talking about right now, but like it's really frustrating for us, and I just don't see the signs. Like it's hard for me to see the signs. I know it's not going to take. It's always going to be up and down, right? It's always going to be up and down. But that Manchester United game, I'm trying not to take it out of context. I'm trying not to overreact, right? I'm
Yeah.
trying to keep a level head. I'm trying to be calm and try to rewatch the game. But that game broke me. Like that game was like I was really
O-
disappointed in the team. Like I said, my team let me down in that game.
Okay. Okay. So I have a question here. I think I'll throw the question to you and Uzo, but let me get your take first as a Chelsea fan before Uzo jumps in on the question. So I remember some few weeks ago where we're looking at the Chelsea Arsenal, good performance, even though Chelsea did not end up winning that game. We saw them play Manchester City, good performance as well. They could have also won that game as well. So the thing that apart from even outside Chelsea, so the thing about inconsistency in football is something that I don't quite understand. 1 week you are seeing a set of players, group of players, whether the 11 that start the game or those that come in, they play. You see them that you see that there's this commitment there. They play with some sort of aggression. You can see, okay, the effort is there, you know. But then you're looking at them in another week and you're like, what's happening? This is not the team I saw. So in terms of the inconsistency that the players churn out week in week out, right? So should the question my question now is to you guys, Adams, you take this first, is this something that we have to put the blame on the manager, or the players should take more responsibility? And also to also expand on the question a bit, are you in the Pochettino in camp, or you are in the Pochettino out camp? So Adams, let me start with you.
I think talking about sacking Pochettino right now is just crazy talk. Like, no matter what happens, we just have to see to the end of the season. That's at the very least. Like, it makes no sense. Like, how can we give a manager how many games? 19 games. That's crazy to think that we'll sack him after how many games is it? Is it 18 or 19?
I think in the Premier League, like 16 right now.
Yeah, 16 Premier League games. That's insane. Like, no matter what happens, we just have to see it through to the end of the season. So Pochettino definitely has to stay. But I think the majority of the blame will go to him. It has to go to the coach. I think the coach needs to prepare the team better. There's always this thin line between continuing your ideas, trying to play a certain way or prioritizing results, right? I mean, I'm not going to make that call. I don't think I'm a fan, right? I'm just a fan. I don't try to be better than I am. I acknowledge that I might be limited. My knowledge of the game might be limited, right? But I just feel like especially that Manchester United game, you had to prioritize the results. You had to prioritize the results over whatever way you want to play because that Manchester United team was there for the taking. It was, I think sometimes it's the pride in the coach. I heard Uzo talk about his coach wanting to play a certain type of way, but it's different with us, right? We are struggling for wins, confidence. Like we're struggling for confidence. We are low on confidence for as an institution. These players know nothing else. Like it's almost like the culture of this club is beginning to be about losing, right? Like we've just throughout the year, I think we've had one career. I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head. Throughout 2023, I don't think we've had that many wins. So at some point, you have to prioritize wins. Like you definitely have to prioritize wins over whatever type of football you want to play, right? And I think we're at that stage right now, Chelsea. We need to build that confidence. We need people to believe. We need the fans to believe in the team. We need the team. This is a very young team. They are very fragile. You can't start off your career this way, losing every single game. Like you cannot always keep losing. There has to be a time where you have to say, okay, you know what? Forget whatever we're trying to do right now. Let's just win this game. Let's just win this game. Let's just get some wins on the board. And then maybe we can start to build and try to be more elaborate and play fancy stuff. But right now, we can't be Manchester City. We can't be Arsenal. We can't even be Spurs. We we have to we have to dig in, we have to get down wins. These players have to believe in themselves, right? They have to believe. We can't make the culture of this institution about losing. I mean, it's just crazy. We have to win. So to answer your question, Pius, I think this is more on the coach. This is definitely more on the coach. I look at that team, and there's definitely talent in that team. There's talent in that team, and it's a young team, so they're going to be inconsistent. That is for sure. There's going to be inconsistencies for sure, but. I look at that team. I look at that squad. Yes, injuries, but everybody in the Premier League can talk about injuries. We play one game a week right now, 1 game a week. We have more time in the training ground. We have less, well, just like sports, right? We have, less travel, less travel history right now. So I don't see why we shouldn't be getting more against teams like. I'm sorry, Manchester United. That Manchester United game it's just the one that was ticking me off. I know that we're supposed to do better against Everton, but I kind of expected that. Even if we had won against Manchester United, I would have still gone into that Everton game thinking it could go both ways.
Okay, all right, Adams. So sorry, quickly before Uzo jumps in on the question. So I think the internet connection from your end is a bit down, so we can't really see you. So I don't know if you can try to reconnect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we can't see you. So it's saying here that the internet needs to improve or something. So we can't see your video.
Oh, okay. But
Okay, so
can you at
just
least hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can
hear
hear you. You have a little bit of like breakup every like
Yeah.
2 seconds, but it's not like bad or anything.
Yeah, I think we should just continue then. I think it'll
Okay.
it'll record locally, so I think we should be good.
Okay. All right. So from the question I asked Adams, what's your own take in terms of inconsistency in teams. One type of performance this week, one type of performance the other week. So should we be putting the blame on the manager, or should the players be taking more of the responsibility?
It's all on the manager. I'm gonna sit here. That's why I was telling Adams, like, I'm not even here to like dunk on Chelsea. Who would I be to dunk on Chelsea anyways? Because I'm one of the few teams that they actually slapped up this season. So, um, but I think it's on the manager because Chelsea have all of the ingredients to be a better team than they are right now. Like, even just before we got on the recording, like I'm seeing comments from Poch basically saying that they are a mid-table team, and if they want to improve, they're gonna have to pull themselves up. And then he mentioned the transfer. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
No.
that's
This is
insane
this
to
is
say that.
something, and he's making a liar out of me, and that's what, like, the snake thing aside, and like as much as like I have a bit of like annoyance towards him because I feel like he betrays Spurs fans going there. I rate this manager relatively highly, right? When I did the pod with Adams, like I told him, I said I think he's overachieved everywhere he's been, and I think that he gets an unfair rap because most of his like perceived success came at Tottenham, who have for some reason just don't get any of that like credit in the media. So I feel like people dismiss what he did because I think if he would have done it at like at an Arsenal, then he would have been more respected. Because look at the way Arteta is getting all this respect for doing basically what Poch did with Spurs, not win anything, just challenge and look good, right? But this that I'm seeing, right? This is insane, right? Like I don't even think at Southampton he lost this many games to these many like bad teams. I don't think so. And like I was looking at their fixture list because I wanted to confirm something because I think, and I told this to Adams, right? Like when they were coming to Spurs, the reason why I was very confident is because I didn't think that they could travel well because young players don't travel well, right? And so a lot of his confidence going into the United game, I thought was he probably was basing that on the way they've performed in other big games. But the
Yeah,
difference was all of those other big games have been at home, right? Young players need to feel, that kind of like ginger from the fan to continue to push them on, carry them through like the bad periods in games. And I thought that from the minute the whistle went off in that United game, United were trying to make that pitch a living hell for Chelsea. Like I've never seen them play that way. They came out of their blocks, they were pressing high, they were in their face, they were not trying to let them play out. Chelsea's buildup is really flawed, and I think that the thing that worries me about their buildup a lot is, especially when Thiago Silva is not in the team, which I noticed today straight away. Like, oh yeah, this team has no future without Thiago Silva in that center back pair. I don't care what pair you go with, he needs to be there
Bro,
until you
I don't.
get one of those guys more comfortable.
I actually don't think anybody, like I was saying it on my review. I don't think it's a matter of personnel right now. Whoever you put in that team, it doesn't
No, I'm
look
speaking
good.
specifically of the build-up, just from the
Oh,
build-up
okay.
from the back. I don't think either of those guys, Disasi and Badiashile that played today, are ready to take on that mantle of. When I watched the way Spurs play, right, one of the things that excited me from the West Ham game on was as soon as Romero came back into the team, I instantly clicked. I said, as much as I was annoyed with this guy for what he did, his petulance, all of that stuff, this guy's profile is the single most important thing to our team. I don't even think Van der Ven is as important as Romero. Why? He's the only one that can build up the ball. He can bring the ball out comfortably. He's not scared to dribble past strikers. He can play tight window passes. He has the willingness and the ability to do it. That makes us bypass like several midfields, creates a lot of situations where we're attacking. And even when he wins the ball in transition, he's able to make a pass out of winning the ball. That's something that Van Dijk does. That's something that you see from guys like Saliba, some of the best like build up center backs in the world. They're able to
yeah.
win the ball and start an attack with it. That's something that you miss a lot with like guys like Thiago Silva who have a deep understanding of the game. Now his body has betrayed him, and he's made a lot of mistakes that are down to just like you can tell like this guy is waning in age. Like he's 39 years old. Like of course it's to be expected. But I'm looking at the team right now. There's a huge flaw in the buildup. And I think one of the biggest things is I don't think Caicedo has been the player that he was at Brighton, especially on the ball. He's had some games where he was good. Like against Spurs, I think he was by far their best player. He was the reason why they won. But I think he needs to be taking a lot more initiative in the build up from deep because you have a guy like Enzo who you know is going to do the box to box. He can keep the ball ticking. He can dictate tempo. But I think sometimes Caicedo finds himself, and it's the same thing I'm dealing with Basuma right now, which is annoying me.
Bro,
Is
Caicedo is not the
if
reason
you're
why we
the
lost to
DM,
Manchester United, though. Like
he's not. He's
that's
not.
not, bro.
No, but
I don't think.
I'm going towards when United got in your face, right? When United got in you guys' face, you couldn't bring the ball out from your own half. And he may not be the reason why any of the goals happen, but I always like to look at profiles in terms of what can you do to turn the tide of the game, right? The team was suffering. And that's why if you're home, you can quell that because the fans get on you. They carry you through those kind of periods because every team is going to have their period where like the other team is on top of you. But when United were just laying it on, getting in your face, like they created an absurd amount of chances within the first like 15. I was like, yo, what is going on? Probably more chances than they've created the entire season. And it's because there was nobody to be a calming influence and say, guys, let us feel our way through the game. And I hear what you're saying, like maybe abandon the philosophy, stop playing out of the back, lump it forward. I don't know. But I think that the individual characters need to go and take more initiative, take more control. That's where I'm looking for. And this brings me to my point, right? The biggest thing with Chelsea is, and it's slowly becoming a realization, I don't think they have difference makers. They have great players all across the pitch. Guys that have great attributes. They're good on the ball. They can trap the ball. They can play the ball. They're intelligent, etc. They don't have difference makers. Like I look at like a guy like Bruno Fernandes on United. I don't rate him particularly as a technician or as someone that is really like has high football IQ in my opinion. But I think he's a difference maker because when he's on the pitch, he's going to do something to impact the game from a positive standpoint, right? I don't think I look around Chelsea and for a brief while, like Cole Palmer was that guy, right? But you've seen like slowly but surely, like he's struggling for form, trying to find his feet again. And they don't have anybody that can make that difference, drag the team through a game. And I think that's the thing that, not to be cliche, but that's the thing that money can't buy. Because you cannot identify that characteristic in somebody. They just either have it or they don't. Like you look at a guy, he's a good player, but that doesn't mean he's going to be a difference maker in the big moments. See Jude Bellingham, he's a great player, right? There's been guys who have made that leap. Jovic went from Bundesliga, went to Real Madrid, he flopped. Yeah. You saw a guy like Vlahovic leave Fiorentina. He went to Juve, he's kind of flopped. You don't know who's going to have that intangible to thrive at the highest level in the big pressure moments until you put them in that position. And right now, I think Chelsea's crying out for a guy that is going to be that guy.
If you put them in our team right now, they will struggle. I can absolutely guarantee that they will struggle. I'm 100% sure that some of the guys you look at in our team, Enzo goes to another team and he becomes that difference maker that you're talking about.
Well, I don't think Enzo is that character. Even for Argentina, he's not. He's a great player. I'm not even asking that from him, right? I'm not saying he should be that. But I'm saying you don't I think Mudryk was brought in to be that guy, the ceiling raiser, the guy who is going to be a talisman, the guy who you're going to give the ball and play through him like a Martinelli, for example, right, at Arsenal, even though he's tailed off recently. But he's always that guy. You give the ball, he's driving at his defender the entire game, and he's creating havoc. He's causing issues. But it hasn't panned out for Mudryk that way. I thought he had a great game against Everton today. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch. Unfortunately, like the finishing let him down, whatever. But I just think Chelsea are struggling for that guy, that identity. And I look around the pitch and I don't see that guy. And it's not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing because you can still win with that. Not everybody has those guys. Like you look at a team like Brighton right now, they don't really have that many difference makers, but they're able to get themselves through games.
That to me, that is when you're trying to be the best team. Like that's when you're trying to be like a Man City.
Yeah. That's the next level.
Arsenal. Yeah,
but this is unacceptable. Even right I'm not even using that as an excuse. This is unacceptable.
For right
and
now,
I'm shocked because I don't expect that from Poch.
We have everything we need. We have everything we need to be better than we are. We have
absolutely.
So we have everything we need to be better than we are. So I'm not looking at any player outside of in any team and saying, oh yeah, this guy is going to improve us drastically and then we'll become that team. Right now, we have all the ingredients that we need. Bro, I look at teams like Everton. I look like teams like Everton. I look like teams like Newcastle, Aston Villa. These teams, bro, you see the effect of coaching. That's where I'm looking at the coach. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You need to be better than you are. I expect inconsistencies. I expect us to be up and down, but I can't take some of the results that I've been seeing lately. I just can't.
Okay,
I'm just
okay,
not surprised with the away form because that's what you see with young teams.
But we have
Young
not
teams
been playing
struggling
at
away
home.
from home.
We've not been
Arsenal
playing.
struggled with it too as well.
We've not been playing
yeah,
well at home too. We've not been playing well at home.
Well, recently you
But
played a lot better at home.
yeah.
Recently,
There's,
but the
you had the
Arsenal and the
Brighton
City
win.
game.
Arsenal,
okay,
City, Brighton. Like you've had recently, you haven't been taken early in the season. I agree. Villa beat you at home. I believe Nottingham Forest actually beat you at Stamford Bridge as well.
yeah, that's
But recently, you've seen like with the team getting some continuity, they've been better at home. But when you travel, we've seen it with Newcastle. Newcastle don't have a single win in the Premier League away from home, and they've looked dreadful. They've been getting slapped all across the country. So a lot of these teams is a struggle to go away from home, and I think you're going to see a little bit more of that. But I say all that to say what Pochettino is doing right now with this Chelsea team is absolutely unacceptable. I think he can turn it around, but I think he needs to find one, his trusted 11. I don't think he's played the same 11 besides that little stretch between Spurs and City when like you guys were scoring 4 goals a game and it was looking like, okay, he's found some kind of identity and then some more chopping and changing, but he needs to find a set 11, let them grow with each other, let them develop some chemistry, have some continuity. Like it is ridiculous what I'm seeing
yeah.
because you can't really pinpoint why it's happening. It's crazy.
Right. I was just about to hop on the continuity bit of things. I think he needs to find a settled 11 and then stick with that particular 11 and then try to build some sort of consistency. I think I mean, let Chelsea fans see that kind of like idea, like that kind of like identity, and say, okay, this is how we want to approach games. So like when there's a game, Chelsea game, they know what to expect. That okay, this is how we're going. This is the starting 11. This is what we're going to expect from a manager. So some sort of consistency will be nice, and then we can see where that takes them in terms of results. Okay, because of time, let's quickly move
Just
on.
real quick before we move on from Chelsea, right? This is a question I've asked a couple of Chelsea fans that I've spoken to today: is what do you think changes this, Adams? Like it just in a quick short, what do you think?
Yeah,
Because it's a head scratcher for me, bro. I don't know what the
yeah,
hell
it
is
is.
going on.
It's very difficult. Like it's really difficult. I feel like this is, of course, we have to go back to the decision from the owners to go this route of signing inexperienced players, and I think we've come too far to ditch that philosophy. We just have to see it through. We just have to die by the sword. Like we have to continue going this route. I think we just the best. I don't know, man. It's really difficult. I think the only thing is just we just keep fit in the process. Like it sounds absurd, but what else are we going to do? Any other thing we do will actually be worse. Will be even worse than. I think right now the only thing we can do is just stick like put trust in the manager. That's the only thing we can do right now. I think that's the best thing we can do right now.
All right, man. The Adams just finally putting his faith in
Nkunku soon, don't worry.
Mauricio Pochettino.
But
yeah. Nkunku he could be the difference maker. Like with a
He could.
it
He
could
could.
be.
He's
Okay,
got the traits.
all right.
Nkunku, rise, please. Rise.
All right, let's.
I almost don't want him to play anymore. Like I don't stain his white. Just leave him.
Okay, let's quickly before we go and talk about the teams contending for the title. I don't know if we can quickly touch on Manchester United as well. Another team that is in a bit of crisis. So they lost this weekend at home, Old Trafford, like Uzo mentioned, for the first time ever. 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. It could have been 4, but VR spared their blushes. Manchester United is another another question that needs to be answered. There's this inconsistency about them. I know the funny thing about this going into this weekend's fixture was I think Manchester United were like the first team to have the goal of the month, the manager of the month, and then the
No.
player of the
They're not the first. They're
okay,
not
they're
the
not the
first.
first
We've
team.
done it. We've
Okay,
done Conte,
okay,
Hazard and Costa.
okay,
So
okay. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they had that clean sweep the last month,
Seems
So
like forever ago, huh, Adams?
so
Yeah, you want to talk.
going into the season, going into the weekend's fixture, I think they were the form team, three wins in the bounce, clean sheets, 3 clean sheets as well. So they were looking like, okay, yeah, Manchester United were beginning to pick up form. Some of their fans were even talking about, oh, the
Well,
title.
no, they had the loss to Newcastle, right? They
Yeah,
had
they
the
did.
loss to
Okay,
They
yeah,
did
Newcastle.
that's
before
before the midweek.
Chelsea's
Yeah,
game. Yeah.
before the midweek game
Yeah.
against Chelsea. So Manchester United, what is the problem? I think we've spoken about this before, myself and Adams. Some fans will say, oh, the Glazers, they've not invested in the club. The training facility is poor. The roof at Old Trafford is leaking. um, they don't back the manager. Some fans have said no, that most of the players are started. I think I saw some Man U fans doing like, oh, the starting 11 yesterday was all Ten Hag signings or something like that. So some people are putting the blame on Ten Hag. So Adams, okay, let me start with you, Adams, since those are just last spoke. In terms of Manchester United, has your view changed from where the problem lies for them?
Nah, man, I don't think they're a good team. Like I keep saying it, they're not a good team. Like it pains me to say it because I'm a Chelsea fan, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, how about your team?" But they're not a good team. Like they're a very horrible team. They just have, um, they have some experienced players in there that, like you were saying, some difference makers. They have Bruno that could, when the going is getting tough, can take the game by the scruff of the neck and deliver the goods for them. But they're not a good team. Like in every aspect of the game. I think this is going to be the best game they'll play all season against Chelsea. That's going to be the best game they'll play all season. I'm going up the limb saying that that's going to be the best game they'll play. They've been very poor, even in games that they've won. They've just, I think the coach, yes, they've had the injuries, but he's just been clueless lately. Like I fear for him, really. I fear for him. I think it might be, alarm bells might be ringing really soon, and the reason why I keep putting the blame on him is just his talent ID, like the players that because they've backed him. Like he has signed players, like he's signed a
Yeah.
couple players, and they have not just turned out, you're good for him. So for me, it's just a short and simple answer. I don't want to get into it too much because my team is not, in the best phase right now, but they're not a good team. That they're really horrible. I said before that we're going to finish above them, but I don't think that's happening because we're worse. Actually, no.
You could still
Yeah, I
come on. You
think
could
it's
still
still
finish
possible
ahead of
because
them.
yeah, they're
I
they're really
understand.
they're
Yeah.
a horrible team.
No, that would have to be a major collapse from United for you guys to catch them though. Because as bad as they've just been picking up a lot of. They're only
Yeah,
3 points behind us, and they really
yeah.
could have leapfrogged us this weekend. So again, this is United, bro. This is prime all of United. I don't think there's anything wrong with United. Again, their fans are acting like this is some like shocker. Like this is the team they've been since Fergie left. They've been up and down. They'll win a trophy one year, then they'll be absolutely disgusting the next year. This is who they are. This is who they will be as long as those players are there, as long as these are the guys that they have entrusted to take them to the next level. And I don't think it matters which manager comes in, right? The issue is very structural with United. And like I know we get bored of them saying the Glazers and et cetera. And finally, thank God they're getting a new ownership. So we can stop hearing the Glazers and seeing those Norwich scarves every weekend.
Said no.
But like it's so jarring. It's like, bro, who even came up with this idea?
Bring down the Norwich scarves.
Every time they lose, and then for window
The
they'll go hype
Glazers.
again. They want to go sign Tony Cruz. They want to go sign Di Maria. Like just
So
the issues at United are structural, right? They're structural. Their recruitment is shocking. They gave too much power to a manager who has no track record in
Yeah.
terms of developing talents. He came from a very well established structure at Ajax where the philosophy was set. The players are recruited for him. His only job is to get them playing and motivate them.
Yeah. I think
And
I agree with you, but I think Ten Hag is not who we think he is.
he's not.
I just think
He
not
doesn't
him.
have the CV.
It's
He
not
doesn't
him.
have the CV that most guys think he does.
Yeah.
He's
It's not.
won at Ajax. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's people that have even said, like, if you go investigate his managerial career before Ajax,
But
like he wasn't playing
Bro,
the ball
they're
that
not a good
with,
team.
for example, with Ange, if you trace him all the way back to when he was coaching Yokohama in the Asian League, he was playing
yeah.
the exact same system.
Yeah.
Everyone would tell you the exact same story about this guy in every
Absolutely.
single stop along the way. You look at Eric Ten Hag, who are your sources, bro? Like when you apply to a job, you need to put references. You
Yeah.
need to put your manager's number. Let me call him and talk to him. I don't think
Bro,
United did their due diligence with this guy. He
I'll
puts his
probably have to
cousin.
call you out on that Ange thing you just said, bro. I
No.
don't know Ange's track record, bro. I
No.
don't.
Right, no,
don't.
but No,
I
but
can,
the thing is, Adams, like no
Price, I
banter.
can
No,
assure you that you don't. You don't.
I,
Did
No,
you know
no,
Adams
no,
before
no,
Celtic? You didn't
no,
know
Adams.
Adams.
no, no,
Adams, no,
no, no.
we
You
didn't
know
know
what?
before. I'm saying like I encourage you to go do some reading about him. I'm not even saying it about banter. Like it's actually a very fascinating story. He's like, he's like almost 60. Like he's not a
Yeah,
young manager. He's
yeah.
not some up and coming guy. He's been around for a while,
Wow.
right? But
Yeah.
I'm saying like just go read about it. He has a very unique and interesting story. Like he's
Yeah.
actually, I think he's been coached by Cruyff.
Wow.
People don't even know that about him. He's a very interesting character. That's besides the point. I wasn't even
Yeah.
trying to use that to big up my manager, but I'm saying track record wise, you can know what to expect from a manager based on where they've been. I don't think United called the references because I think if they would have called the references, guys would have told them, "Oh, that guy used to cheat on the test, though. That that guy, that guy didn't do his senior design. He got his degree by default. He got his degree during COVID. Like
ChatGPT.
Oh,
he's not who they think he is. He's not.
ooh.
And if you listen to him talk, you can tell he's not who they think he is. He abandoned his philosophy after 2 games, right?
Yeah.
He abandoned his philosophy after 2 bad games. What message does that send to your players? It tells them that you don't believe in yourself.
I think.
It
I
tells
think
them
you.
that you don't believe in your ideas. And it
I
tells them
think.
that you're just trying to make it. You're just trying to scam a check. And he scammed the check all of last season, got a trophy, played disgusting football. They were scoring 1 goal a game. They scored 59 goals last season. And then decided coming to this season and prioritize signing a Mason Mount and an Onana. You need to fix that attack, brother. Right now, they're on 18 goals in 16 games.
Yeah.
Fulham have scored more goals than them. Luton are 2 goals behind
And
United
then.
on the entire season. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. So again, it's a purely managerial problem as far as on the pitch,
I'm not.
but it's a structural problem from top to bottom, and they
I'm.
have a lot to fix. It's
I'm.
not like with Chelsea where the players are there and you just need to develop them. With United, the players are not there, the manager is not there, the structure is not there. Good luck.
Yeah. I'm
Ooh.
not complaining. I'm not complaining.
Ooh,
I'm
relate
not
to them.
complaining.
What?
I'm not
It's
even complaining at
it's
all.
facts.
I'm not complaining.
It's
I think.
facts.
Bro, they play. They
You think they're
play.
gonna go to Anfield and do what?
Yeah. So the thing about, I think, so like just like you mentioned, you touched on. I think the first Ten Hag's first season. I think that was last season. There was those. I think they finished in the top four, won the Carabao Cup. There was even the banter with Arsenal after Arsenal missed out on the title. There was even the banter between Man
They
United and
tried to say
Arsenal
it was
fans.
a better season.
Yeah, so they were like, "Oh, Ten Hag Man United had a better season than Arsenal." I know
He
some people
finished like
couldn't argue.
16 points behind them.
No,
Very disgusting rubbish.
but
Like
you know, some people couldn't argue. They couldn't argue because Arsenal didn't win any trophy, and then United top four Carabao Cup. Come on, it looks like
I
a better
get it,
season.
but
Yeah,
59 goals, 16 points behind your rivals. That's I don't know. It's mid versus mid. That's really what it was, to be honest. Because
mid,
the team
mid
that carried
versus mid.
treble is the team that had a successful season.
Okay, I get your point. I get your point. But from my own point,
But he has regressed from last season, and I
yeah,
mean that's the shocking part. Is like if you're gonna play pragmatic football, the least you can do is deliver on results. And
you know,
right now
you
he's
see,
falling out with the best players on his team. He just seems to be going backwards. I don't know.
me from when he first signed, when United first hired him, I was like, I was wow, ooh, I think United got this one right
Yeah,
because looking at the way Ajax played in the
right.
previous, beautiful football, pleasing on the eye. I was like,
Also,
no,
he's bald and he has this voice. Eras come
so
to an end.
yeah,
God,
Eras,
God.
he just came and said, oh, Guardiola and Klopp, their era is coming to an end. Even Liverpool fans were like, ooh, were worried, and especially like, wow, this guy has come to come and challenge. So there was this,
Then he finished above you. He won a trophy. It was
yeah,
looking.
so
It was
it
looking
was
kind of
looking very
spooky.
ominous
Yeah.
now. Ooh. And the season Liverpool had as well. So, but well, I don't know. Good. I'm enjoying the current Manchester United downfall. So, well, I'm sorry. Long may it continue. No regrets. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's good. It's good quality entertainment. That's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, all right. So now it's time for us to quickly talk the title. Three teams, in my point of view, right, are contenders for the title. I don't know if you guys have a different opinion. Maybe you might add Aston Villa there to make it four. But wow, this weekend, as a Liverpool fan,
He's trying
as
to
a
say
Liverpool fan.
5. Guys, speak at me like oof.
One game at a time. One game at a time.
Okay,
Wait for us.
you're trying to
Trying to speak to us in like
but
oof.
again, like, who notice? Okay, all right, but this weekend's fixtures and results, as a Liverpool fan, couldn't have happened any better for us in terms of the title. We're third going into the fixtures of this weekend, and we're ending the weekend now at the top spot, the top position in number one team right now in England. Let me analyze the game. So we went to Crystal Palace. Okay, in midweek we went to Sheffield and won 2 goals to nothing. It wasn't a great performance,
Scam
I
the
must say.
results.
It wasn't a great performance. Sheffield United, they might count themselves unlucky. They had some decent openings at 0-0 to go into the lead. But Liverpool, I think this season we've just been riding our way. The performances have not been good. As a Liverpool fan, I'll be honest, they've not been good overall. But we've just been finding a way to win. We just eke out that win. Even when we scored 1-0, there was Sheffield United was still kind of like knocking at the door. At some points, let me be honest, at that game, when I saw 90 plus 7 minutes, I was like, oh my goodness. Against Sheffield United, I was worried. Like, can the referee just blow the whistle? Like, can he end this game? But we eventually find a way and then we scored the second goal and then we won that game. So, and then coming into this game yesterday against Crystal Palace, I think Crystal Palace will count themselves very unlucky to have not at least gotten a draw out of that game. They played superbly. And this is a Crystal Palace team that has lost like 3 or 4 games coming into that game. So Liverpool fans were expecting, we go in there 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, but it wasn't the case. We're very lucky to win that game. The whole of the first half, Crystal Palace were on top of Liverpool. We had no shot on targets in the first half against Crystal Palace. It was that bad. And I couldn't just understand what was happening. We went to the midfield of and
You had no shots on target until the red card.
Wow. There you go. So Wataru Endo, Dominic Szoboszlai, Luis Diaz, they were not at it at all. I just was looking at what is going on. Like it wasn't. I couldn't see how we're going to even win the game. I was almost consigned to us losing that game. I was just like, oh wow, we're going to lose this game, and I will just go back to and send a message to Adams and say, Adams, I think it's Arsenal's title, but we just somehow found a way. Andrea, for me, it was a yellow card. There's argument around, it was harsh, second yellow, it should not have been second yellow. For me, you're on a yellow card. You don't try to break up an attack like that. You don't try to foul the player like that. So for me, it was a yellow card. I don't care what anybody else wants to see. So yeah, so Crystal Palace down to 10 men, and then almost a minute or 2 minutes after that, Salah, what can you say? 200 Premier League goals, the man is simply phenomenal, and then Harvey Elliott, our little diamond, getting us the second goal. So yeah, 6 points midweek and this weekend. Now we're top of the table, life is looking good. We're welcoming Manchester United to Anfield. Of course, everybody's expecting us to, continue the winning form.
Of everything you've said, I know that's the one that sweets you the most.
Yeah. So from a Liverpool point of view, good. Okay. So let me ask you guys about Arsenal and City. So Arsenal, right? They went to Villa Park, an informal Aston Villa. They defeated Manchester City in midweek. Totally outplayed Manchester City on an Emery ball. In your face, Uzo, I told you that Manchester City was not going to win that game. You were like, oh, come on, 2-0. So, you see?
Yeah,
So
I didn't
Aston
expect
Villa,
that to happen.
yeah, so Aston Villa, again
But my
against
Luton
Arsenal.
was so close today.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Let's quickly talk
It's the
Arsenal.
history of the Luton.
But Arsenal, looking at what I watched the Arsenal game yesterday, and I think Arsenal did not do too badly. I think they fared better than Manchester City did against Aston Villa. They will count themselves unlucky, or refereeing decisions. But sorry, I think one thing about Arsenal fans, moaning about the referee is a Liverpool fan,
Yeah,
that-
Liverpool. A Liverpool fan saying Arsenal fans are moaning.
Come on. The only time we moaned this season we were right because this decision was wrong, Come on. But Arsenal fans, an Arsenal fan was saying, our 2 losses this season, Newcastle 1-0, Aston Villa 1-0. They were done by the referee. Come on. They had chances to win the game against Newcastle and Aston Villa, and they didn't take their chances. And anytime they lose,
But the ref has to do his job. No, the ref has to do his job.
Yeah, I
mean,
agree.
You can't say that. Like, the ref has to do his job.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, let me come to you guys. Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City. as you guys are neutrals, right? um,
Hmm.
I don't know how do I frame this. Okay, um, as in terms of who wins the title for you guys between those three, or are you sticking in Aston Villa as well? Adams, let me start with you.
I think the answer is in the performance, right? Is in the performance. Just like I think sometimes you get carried away by because you want to troll fans, but the answer is always in the performance. For example, Spurs, when they've lost, they've played very well. Like you could tell, like, oh, it's just a matter of time. It's probably the injuries. It is going to click. I saw them against Aston Villa. I saw them against West Ham. They lost those games. It was fun to make fun of them, but I knew that this team was always going to come good. He also made the point about Manchester United last season, scamming wins, 1-0 wins. You could tell that it was only a matter of time. I'm sorry to say, but Liverpool, from what I've been saying, I think it's just only a matter of time. If you guys don't change, if nothing changes, I think it's a matter of time. Like you guys will find out why you can't be in the title race. But so far so good. You guys have been, being able to grind out the victory, and that's why I look at Arsenal and I've seen that even the games that they've lost,
They played well.
they've still played well. Like
Yeah.
they've still been. You could not say, oh, Arsenal got outplayed and they lost this game. I don't know what's going on with them. It's just a matter of them not taking their chances, and you can tell. You know that very soon, probably in the next game or the next two games, they will do better. So. For me, I still think it's between Arsenal and City. I'm sorry,
City.
Pius. I'm sorry, but I know
It's
that
fine.
you guys are going to. I know you guys are going to stay within touching distance because you guys have the experience, and once it gets going for you guys, you have the players to kind of sustain that momentum. Like you have the old heads in Salah, Van Dijk to calm the boys, to make sure that you ride on that wave, right? You continue going. You probably this might be a last dance for some of those guys.
Those
Maybe
guys, yeah.
Salah, this might probably be the last one for him. So you have that going for you, but I think it's just one loss away for Liverpool. Like one bad loss away from everything coming crumbling. I'm not saying you guys are going to be useless or you guys will not be up there, but I'm just saying I don't think you'll be able to stay with Arsenal and City.
Yeah. Fair point. But I think one point I also want to raise is, the games that Arsenal have lost, they've played well. But I think Liverpool, I'm correct me if I'm wrong, I'm thinking, apart from the Spurs game, which other game have we lost? I'm not sure we've lost any other game this season apart from that Spurs game.
No, I don't think, I don't think you've lost any game.
That's your only loss.
Yeah,
that's our only loss. You're right, right. So okay, so I'm getting somewhere, right? And there have been some games too that Arsenal have won this season, and Arsenal did not really play well, but they ended up winning that game.
Well, you could say that.
Yeah. So there's no that kind of like much
you could say that.
So,
you could say that.
So I don't kind of agree with
that. Arsenal deserve to lose. They deserve to lose to Chelsea. In my opinion, I think they should have lost that game. That was gifted to them by extremely good fortune.
Yeah.
I didn't think that they were, I think the Luton game, you can say like as much as Arsenal gifted Luton all the chances, they were kind of fortunate to get back in that game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Luton deserved at least a point. So
Adams,
it's the season, bro. It's the season,
it's beginning to put holes in your, your analysis, There have been some games that Arsenal too. So I just think
that's not true. You know that Arsenal,
Arsenal also didn't deserve to beat Manchester United. If you remember, there was a blade of grass between that offsides from Garnacho's goal being given. No. If you watch the game, right? That goal came. Wait, hold on. That goal came in the 82nd minute. United were the better team on the day.
What?
United were
they were.
In my opinion, they were. They were the better team on the day.
No, they're not the better team.
For my
Arsenal goal comes from. It was evenly poised, right? But that blade of grass offsides is the entire difference in 3 points and 0, in my opinion. Because if that goal goes in, it's a completely different result. That's all I'm saying. So, like, good fortune. I'm not even saying that. You know how I feel about Arsenal. I think they're a legitimate contender. So I'm not even saying that to like. I just think nobody has been convincing this year. So my answer is.
I think that's the point.
I think it's going to be. We said it last week. We said it's going to be a 3-horse race up until April, March, April. possibly the first week of May is
You
going to
think
be a
Liverpool is
3-horse
going to
race.
stay with
Is
them?
it?
He's going to stay with Arsenal and City till
Okay, so
April.
let me poke holes in your argument about them being one loss away, right? I hate Liverpool. They're the team I hate the most, surprisingly, between Arsenal, Chelsea, United. The team that I hate the most is Liverpool because they're specific members of their fan base. Not you. You are actually more level-headed for a Liverpool fan. You're probably the most level-headed one that I've met. But because of the fans that are around me, I root for Liverpool's downfall more than anybody else. But when it comes to overcoming adversity this season, nobody has dealt with more red cards and suspensions. Nobody has dealt with more major key injuries. They've had guys in and out of the team. They had
No,
Luis
come
Diaz.
on, bro.
They
Arsenal
have his dad kidnapped. And
Arsenal have had more injuries than Liverpool as well. They've had probably the same injuries as Liverpool. They've had Thomas Partey probably
they
missing
haven't dealt with the
almost
same
entire season.
suspensions. They haven't dealt with the same adversity within. They
They've
won a
had
game at
Jesus
St. James
missing
Park
for
with
some
10
parts of
men.
the game.
10 men.
They've
Come
had
on,
Saka
man.
missing
Right,
at some point as well.
No, I get that.
Huh?
I understand that, right? I'm not saying that other teams have not had adversity. I'm saying if you look
Bro,
at the three
let
teams challenging for the
Liverpool
title,
lose
right?
Salah. Let Liverpool lose Salah and Van Dijk for like
They've
a
lost
stretch.
Allison. They've lost Allison. They've lost Van
Bro, they
Dijk for
lost
3 games.
Alisson
Remember,
for
he
2
got a straight
games.
red. Van Dijk served
Who?
the 3-game suspension. You forget that. And they won all
Yeah,
those
yeah, he
games.
did.
Again, Swansea came in and did a job. They have dealt with adversity. They've played with 10 men, multiple games in the season where they've won those. This team is built. What was the nickname for Liverpool during their title challenges seasons? Mentality Monsters. They're the team that has done it constantly down the stretch. I think if any team is more equipped to go the distance, and so if Klopp smells blood, right, he's going to hunt it down. Now, his problem has always been getting over the line. But we're arguing, are they going to get to the line? 1,000, I will put my rent on it, that they're going to be in a title challenge until the end of the season.
Top analysis
1,000%.
from
Because there's no
Uzo there,
evidence that they won't. There's no evidence that they will not. This is the team
If
that
they're
they've
able
been.
to sustain, it somehow, then it's going to be really tough for Arsenal. That's
The
what I'm saying.
season they
Like,
won
I
the
don't
league,
think-
right?
I
They
don't
had
think-
so many scammy results. I remember
I
the
don't
result
think-
against
I
Everton,
don't think they can
where
sustain
Origi
it.
scored a 90 plus 7-minute winner. I was like, bro, this is what they do. This is what they do. You
I just
think
don't
it's
think Liverpool
unsustainable,
can sustain it.
but that's just who they are.
That's what I
That's their
think.
identity.
When I see
Okay.
the
Alright, okay.
performances, I'm just like, it's
based on what you've
like
seen.
it
Yeah,
just feels like, based on what
At
I've
some
seen,
point,
it's
it will-
just
yeah,
like
at some point it will.
the answer is always in the performance for me. Like the answer
Yeah.
is, you might win this
I
game.
think the
I'm like,
answer for
okay,
me is in the difference makers. They just have too many. And I
Okay, so-
believe that having that many
Ugh.
difference makers over the stretch of 38 games, you're going to get results.
Okay, all right. As
And
They
we-
will.
remember, this
but let-
season is not going to be won with 90 plus points. This is going to be an 87-point title. They can
Yeah,
absolutely
okay, so
do it.
as a Liverpool fan, let me have a final word on Liverpool. So I think, of course, I'm gonna agree with Uzo's point. You know, he has raised some very valid points.
Of
We've
course.
had a lot of adversity. Come on, we've had adversity this season. You know. How many teams can go to Newcastle St. James Park with 10 men and come from behind, come on, and win that game? Oh, come on. And then we've had Van Dijk suspended, and we're going to have another huge test. Salah is going to the African Cup of Nations in a few weeks' time. So we're going to have Salah missing for like 3 games. I think Chelsea come to Anfield and Salah is not going to be there. So we're going to have some very interesting games when Salah.
I think Jota is out. Matip has an ACL.
Yeah.
Jota is out. Matip ACL.
Yeah, so it's looking
But
like
It's been challenging.
if what you guys are
Diaz's
saying
father
is
got
true-
kidnapped, for God's sakes. How's that not adversity? Like, they took the
Oh,
man's
yeah.
father.
okay, guys.
if what you guys are saying is true, like if what you guys are saying is true, if Liverpool somehow sustain that title challenge, then I fear for Arsenal. I said it before, like if Liverpool are in the title challenge, if they're in the title race, then for me Arsenal finishes third.
Yeah. So I think this coming
I think
2
this
weeks.
favors Liverpool and Arsenal to have 3 challengers. It means that City cannot do their rubbish gimmick that they do every year. It's going to be very interesting. I'm excited. I just don't want Arsenal to win, but I'm excited still.
So as a Liverpool, for me, looking at the fixtures and leading up to January and when Salah is going to go to the AFCON, this coming 2 weeks are going to be very pivotal. You know, I'm looking at our next 2 games at Anfield. Arsenal and Manchester United are coming to Anfield. Our next 2 home games.
You need 6 points there, brother.
And then
You
in
need
between
6
that,
points, nothing less.
Fixture list is so crazy because in between Arsenal and Manchester United coming to Anfield, there is a Carabao Cup quarter-final with West Ham at Anfield as well. Sandwich in
Bro, I
between.
beg. He said there's a Carabao Cup quarterfinal with West Ham.
West Ham are
Please.
stinky.
No.
Stinky.
I beg. You guys
All right.
did it that time now. You sent under 21s to play. Was it? I think it was West Ham
Come on.
too.
If you
So you
try that
guys can
against West Ham,
sacrifice.
they're gonna we can't do that
You
against
guys
West
can
Ham. Come on,
sacrifice. You can
the
sacrifice
Carabao Cup.
the
The
Carabao Cup
Carabao
for the
Cup.
title.
All right. Okay, let's quickly before
You
we
guys are quadruple challengers now. You're used to play multiple games a week. Mentality monsters. Go get it done,
Okay.
man. Don't look for
All right.
sympathy.
Yeah. That's true. All right. Let's quickly touch on Manchester City. They
Another
returned
thing
back to
though that you forgot is Liverpool. Liverpool have had most of their tough away fixtures. Like they've gone to Etihad, they've gone to Spurs Ground, they've gone to
Stamford Bridge.
They
Stamford
can to
Bridge.
Chelsea. Yeah.
So the only two away
Yes,
games that they have that are difficult is they have
Everton.
to
That's Everton.
go to
Arsenal.
Emirates and they have to go to Old Trafford. But Old Trafford is not exactly
But things can change.
Old
Come
Trafford
on.
is not exactly a scary
Things
fixture.
can change in football, so anything can happen. Okay,
It's going to be interesting, man. This race is going to be funny.
let's quickly touch on Manchester City. They've returned back to winning ways after their winless run of like I think 2 or 3
Bro,
games.
we almost had them.
Surprising. Luton Town was so close. I wasn't watching the game, but I was like, oh, keeping tabs on it. I was like, oh, Luton Town. Elijah Adebayo gave them the lead. Our
Bro,
Niger
did you
boy,
see
and we're like,
his
oh,
names? They tweeted out his
yeah,
names
Elijah.
like he had like
So it was looking like, wow, City were going to boy at the end of the day. But some part of me knew that City was still going to come back and beat Luton Town. And especially, I think Luton Town also got tired at some point. They put in a lot of effort in the game they lost. Luton Town, there's something Jamie Redknapp said, like, Luton Town have been so unlucky. I feel so bad for them. They put in so much effort. The game against Arsenal, they ran themselves to the ground. They were
Let's
so
start from the
close
game
to
against Spurs. Bro, the game against Spurs. They were supposed to get
Spurs.
at least a point from
That's
that
the
game.
point.
The game against
lost.
United at Old Trafford, they were supposed to get at least a point from that game. Then the game against Arsenal, we were supposed to get a point from that game.
They got
Of
a
course,
point against Liverpool.
Liverpool was supposed to win. We're supposed to win that game.
But they just at the last minute they lost out again. So so they've been unlucky. Luton Town. So also I think from our discussion last week, I think you should give Luton Town a bit of credit. Come on. I think from my point of view, I think that they might survive.
We're staying up.
Yeah, Uzo doesn't still agree.
Zero credit. They're an awful disgrace to the establishment. The reason why they have all these,
you're just hating
hold
on
on.
them.
The reason they have all these even close calls, right, is because they're playing on that absolute disgusting pitch that they. Again, this is why this team should not even be in the Premier League. You can even see from the camera angle, like they're struggling to even figure out where to put the camera to record the game.
That's what it's about.
No, it's not.
It is. Bro.
At least with grounds like Craven Cottage or even Brentford or Forest that play at the City Ground, at least it looks like a Premier League ground. These guys are playing in somebody's backyard.
We need teams like that.
They're kicking people. For the Arsenal game, they shouldn't have even been in the game. David Raya just decided to make it more interesting than it was. In the City game, they got absolutely played off the park the entire first half. They got one goal, and then they rightfully lost the second half. Again, all this almost could have, maybe. You are going to get relegated with the least points that we've seen in this league in a long time.
That's not true.
Because you want to talk about unsustainable? The way you play is not sustainable. Luton are just out there trying to kick and bully people and huff and puff and raw. It's not going to work, and it hasn't been working. They're losing everything. Look, everything was down with a 10-point deduction. They're immediately right above Luton within 2-3 games. Teams that get it done just get it done. Oh, none of this we could have, should have, maybe we almost. You're going to lose to teams that are in and around you because they're going to be better than you, and you're going to need to beat them. You can't just try to scam draws. So I don't see Luton doing anything this season, unfortunately. And you know what? I will be very excited when they get rid of this team, bro. I will be so happy. I just want them out. I just want them out of the league, bro. I don't want Luton here. I don't want Sheffield here. I don't want Burnley here. Get them all out.
All right, Uzo. So we've not really touched on Manchester City. So I think with the win today, I think it's giving them a bit of confidence. I saw, I've forgotten about Kevin De Bruyne. I was just going through my Instagram and like, oh, I saw Kevin De Bruyne. Oh, the guy is still alive, So Kevin De Bruyne is still to come back, And Jurgen Klopp said something in one of his, I think he made a press conference like, anybody really now Manchester City he's just gonna he's gonna find out. He's gonna have a rude awakening, So like there's those guys are still there. They are they're a machine, They're just gonna be there. They will be in there till the end. So anybody ruling them out at this point is just gonna be kidding themselves. Okay, all right. We're
They're
almost
still my
running up
favorites for the league title as well.
for the. Okay.
I've been hearing a lot of crazy people are telling me they're finished. That Pep is out of ideas. The signings that they've got didn't work. We heard all this last season. Again, I'm a big fan of saying if you know someone is a zombie, don't walk away from them after you stab them. Wait to see if they've actually died this time.
Right.
This team has not died in the
Nice
last 3
analogy.
seasons. Why are you walking away and accepting that they're dead? They're not dead until they're mathematically out of the title race. I would never say that they're not favorites.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. I think we all agree on that point. So we're coming to the end of the show. It's now time for one of my favorite part of the show, my quiz section. Quiz section. I know Adams has been looking forward to it, the reigning quiz
The only
champion.
thing that Adams can win these days, man.
Yeah, that's the only thing, bro.
Poor guy.
All right, guys. So I've tried to make this week a bit easier. So I'm going with a theme. So we know we're around 30 days to the start of the African Cup of Nations. So the theme for this week's will be all African players. So all the clubs I'll be calling will have to deal with an African player. So I'm sure that's a hint that will kind of like make the playing field a bit level. Okay, so I have 4 African players here. I'm going to be reeling out. You know the drill. I'll roll out the clubs they've played for. I'm going to be reading out the clubs in no particular order, so you just need to put it all together. Okay, so I have the first player here. So I have this one is going to be a bit tough. So I have here Fulham, West Ham, Portsmouth, Birmingham City.
Yakubu?
No. Fulham,
Portsmouth.
West Ham.
Dula?
Fulham, West Ham, Portsmouth, Birmingham City.
Diop? Was it Diop?
Bouba Diop, fantastic from Adams there. Bouba Diop, the Senegalese. I think he's late now, so may he so rest. Yeah, so that's Bouba Diop, the Senegalese. Good one. 1 point to Adams there. Adams again. Quickly out of the blocks.
Too easy, bro. Too easy.
As usual. All right. Okay, so we have 3 more to go. Okay. So the next one here, this is gonna make it a bit easier. Okay. So I have here Zamalek. That's Zamalek of Egypt. Gent, Ajax, Marseille, Roma, Tottenham, Wigan.
Salah.
Let me go again.
Tottenham?
Yes, so I have Zamalek,
Roma,
Gent,
Tottenham, Wigan.
Roma, Tottenham, Wigan. Zamalek, Gent, Ajax, Marseille.
I know this guy. He's not Mido. He's the other Egyptian guy, right?
He's an Egyptian guy, yes.
Yeah, bro. I forgot his name. Man. I
remember
Mido.
Mido, that's correct. One
I said
apiece.
Mido first. I said
You
one
said it's
of
not
us.
Mido.
No, you said it's not Mido. I was not
Oh, is that what I said?
He said it's not Mido.
I said it's not
It's
Mido.
Mido. It's
Yeah.
I thought he
Mido.
said
Egyptian. It's
Yeah, I think
Mido,
that was
the
the
Egyptian.
obvious one.
Good one there.
That was an own
from
goal by
Izzo.
Adams, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
We take those. man.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1-1. All right, 2 more to go. So I have here Mallorca. That's Real Mallorca in Spain. Real Betis in Spain as well. Ipswich, Ajax, Rivers United.
Wow.
What?
Let's go again. I have Real
Wow.
Mallorca, Real Betis, Ipswich, Ajax, and
John
Rivers
Utaka?
United. No, not John Utaka.
Kanu didn't play. Was Kanu?
No.
It's not kind of no way. Rivers
Ipswich.
United?
Oh,
What are you talking about?
Finidi George.
Finidi George. Adams has regained the lead. Finidi George.
He played for
I was thinking,
Ipswich? Wow.
yeah.
I didn't even know he
the
came to
Ipswich.
Prem.
Yeah, I was thinking the
I
Ipswich
didn't know
would
about
give you guys
Ipswich,
the
but
most.
when you
That's
said
Real.
Real Betis, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Finidi.
yeah. Good one. So 2-1. Let's see if Uzo can come back. This is a decider.
I have to
Okay.
catch this one.
Yeah, you have to. So this is going to be a bit easy. So I have just 3 clubs here. Portsmouth, Inter Milan, and AC Milan.
Portsmouth.
Inter Milan.
Mutari.
Martins?
Mutari. Sule
Sule
Muntari.
Muntari. Oh my goodness.
Uh,
Adams again.
yeah.
Adams again has
It's too
won this
easy,
I'm
one
man, bro.
again.
Pius, you need
tired
to
of
do better,
losing,
bro. It's
man.
too easy, man. It's too
It's
easy.
too easy. Is it too
It's too
easy?
easy,
tired
bro.
of
It's too
losing.
easy, bro. I could have got 4 of them
Okay.
easy.
Okay, I think from next week we'll change the pattern. I think Adams is too
I
easy
think you
for
should
Adams.
do that that X and O1.
Oh,
How
okay,
do we
okay.
do that one? How do we do it
Yeah,
though?
we need a bit of graphic, but
Oh,
Adams
yeah,
has won.
that's true.
Okay, there's this. Okay, just a sort of bonus question. But Adams, don't worry, if you won this week already, this is not gonna challenge anything. So I came across an Instagram
I need
post,
this one
right?
for to redeem my
Yeah,
phone.
yeah. So I came across an Instagram
I'm
post,
doing it
right?
for Chelsea, man. Like, I mean, it's been a horrible season.
So at least you can be winning the quiz. Okay, so I came across this Instagram post around for the 5 youngest players, like the 5 youngest players, like they had to have made their debut in the Premier League, like the 5 youngest debuts in the Premier League. Let me
Well,
put it that way.
that's difficult. How are you ever going to know that?
No. I'm not asking you to name them. I'm gonna give you their names. So what I want you to do, I'm gonna give you 5. There are 5 of them. I want you to arrange in terms of the
Ooh,
youngest
their clubs.
to like. No. I'll give you their names. I'll give you their clubs. I just need you to rank them. So who do you think is the youngest to the oldest? Like, so you go
Oh,
from
okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if you get
Oh,
the
okay.
idea.
Yeah,
So
I
I'll give
get
you
it.
the 5 names. Those 5 names are the 5 youngest, like they've made their 5 youngest players who made their debut in the Premier League. So I just want you to give me from the youngest. Who do you think is going to be the youngest to the oldest? So, right, are you guys ready to go? Okay, so I have here.
So it has to be one at a time, right? It has to be one at a time.
Yeah, so I'll give you go first, Adams, and then Uzo goes after. I see, because since you're the champion. Okay,
Woohoo.
so I have here Aaron Lennon, Matthew Briggs,
I don't know
Harvey
who that is.
Elliott, Easy Brown, and Ethan Waneri of Arsenal. So let me call the names again. I have Aaron Lennon, Easy Brown. I think Easy Brown played for Chelsea at some point.
Yeah.
Easy Brown, Matthew Briggs.
He made it
played
in
for
West
Fulham.
Brom, though.
I think Matthew Briggs played for Fulham at some point. Harvey Elliott also made his debut at Fulham as well. Currently plays for Liverpool. And then Ethan Waneri. So those names, I want you to rank them from the lowest. Like, who do you think is the youngest to in terms of the lowest? So Adams, let me start with you.
Okay.
So I have Aaron Lennon, Easy Brown, Matthew Briggs, Harvey Elliott, and Ethan Waneri. So let's start from the oldest. Let's work our way down.
So the oldest, I think the oldest probably be Lennon, or I'll go the Briggs guy as the oldest. Then I'll go Lennon as the next oldest. Then Easy Brown as the third oldest. I'll go Harvey Elliott in number 2, and then I'll go Ethan Waneri as the youngest.
All right. Adams has locked in his answers. Uzo, over to you. So
I'll go as the oldest. I'll go Harvey Elliott, and then I'll go Izzy Brown. I'll put Briggs in the middle. Then I'll say Lennon, and then I'll say Waneri. Because I know Waneri debuted at 16, maybe 15.
I remember his debut. I remember Arsenal fans were just chatting like, "Oh yeah."
He hasn't really got a look in since, but you know.
Yeah.
I know.
I think he went to the World Cup too, like on this.
Yeah. All right, guys, your answers are in.
Who was the closest?
I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, so the answer, the correct answer is the oldest is Aaron Lennon. That's the 5th.
But I said that was the oldest. That's what I said was the oldest.
Hold on. So the 4th was Easy Brown.
Oh,
the 3rd is Matthew Briggs. The 2nd is Harvey Elliott, and the youngest is Ethan Waneri. So both of you got Ethan Waneri. So you got
I only got 2 spots wrong.
Uzo got.
I got 3 right.
Ethan Waneri correct. Got Matthew Briggs correct. And got Easy Brown correct. Yeah, so Easy Brown correct. So you got 3 out of 5. Good one for you.
But I got 4.
Adams, Hold on, Adams. Hold on,
No, you didn't.
Adams. You got Ethan right. You got Avi Elliott right. That's it. That's
I
it.
only
Exactly. You
got
didn't
two.
give me any
So
right.
yeah, you only got 2 right. Uzo got 3 right. So Uzo, you won that. You won that. So good one for you there, Uzo. Uzo won that round.
Man, this quiz is the best thing that's
Get
happened
back
today,
in your
bro.
box, Adams. Get back in your box. Know your role.
Arsenal fans have been crying that what's his name? Pep didn't get yellow card for staying out. Bro, I don't mean those guys just need to focus on their title challenge and
All right, guys. So
You know,
we've come to the end
the
of.
thing about decisions that I don't understand is like, just calm down. It's going to hit everybody eventually, bro. It's just
that's
So
what I
I
said.
never understand. Once you start blaming refs for anything, like besides that Chelsea game against Barcelona, that's the worst of cheating I've seen. And then the Algeria one against Germany. I just can't see many other games where I'm just like, oh, refs really cost you. You know, it's like, bro, you
Yeah.
did it. You should have done more during the game. That's just
That's
the
the way I
simple
look
reality.
at if it's my team. Like if it's my team, I never really blame the refs and say, "Oh, like we lost because of the ref." I'm like, we had other chances, but the refs should still do their jobs, though.
Yeah, the refs should
Yeah.
still do their job. And I think what I hate, and I hated this about Ateta specifically when he made his comments, is because the week before he kind of was praising the refs and saying that they have a tough job, etc. Then when it affects your team, you're critical of them. I think we should just have a baseline. Like you can say they have a tough job and they need to improve. Simple as that. Not when it affects your team, you get super emotional and then you're like cussing them out. Then when it goes in your favor, you're saying they do a good job. Just have one baseline view. Like not all this flip flopping and crying when it doesn't go your way.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of this show. It was a nice discussion. Nice to have you join us. So guys, don't forget the usual. When you come across a video, please like on Instagram, YouTube. You can subscribe to the channel. Drop us a comment on what you think about the show. We'll be really interested to hear what you have to say. All right, guys. Was there something? Am I missing something?
No, I was saying
Nah, he was
like,
saying,
comment, subscribe.
Comment, subscribe, man. All right, guys. All right. So thanks so much. All right. And that brings us to the end of the show. Hopefully, hope to see you guys here again next week. Take care.